Hi guys, I'm Evan Gadong. For today's video, I'm going to discuss to you the moral courage and reasoning and impartiality as minimum requirements. So the first topic I'm going to discuss is the reasoning and impartiality as minimum requirements. According to Merriam-Webster, reason is the power of the mind to think, understand, and form judgments by a process of logic. So what is impartiality? It is a broad concept that is also identified as a core values in professional codes of ethics. Impartiality, commonly understood as principle of justice. It denotes that decisions should be based on objective criteria rather on the basic of bias, prejudice, or preferring to benefit one person over another for improper reasons. So there are 7-step wise model of Scott Ray 2009. The first one is the first step, gather the facts. The simplest way of clarifying an ethical dilemma is to make sure the facts are clean. The second step is determine the ethical issues. The third step is determine the principles which have bring in the situations. This determine if some should be given more weight than others. The fourth step is to list the alternatives. This determines the possible courses of actions for your dilemma. The fifth step is compare the alternatives with the principle. Here, you must satisfy all the relevant virtues and values. The sixth step is weigh the consequences. This estimate how beneficial each positive and negative consequences is. Some might have greater weight than others. Lastly, the seventh step is make a decision. You have to choose the solution with the least number of problems or painful consequences. Now let's proceed to moral courage. Moral courage. Moral are what you believe to be right and wrong. Morals are the ideas about right and wrong, especially how you should act and treat other people. So moral is what you believe of what is right or wrong, or the ideas of what is bad or good, especially in treating or acting towards other people. Courage is the ability to do something different even when there is risk. Courage is not the lack of fear that is appropriate to the circumstances. Courage, on the other hand, is the ability to do something, even taking risk. Courage is not the lack of fear, but having an amount of fear that is appreciated to circumstances. Now that we have learned the two terms related to moral courage, we are now going to define what is moral courage. According to Rushworth M. Kidder, moral courage is the courage to do what's right, no matter what the cost. It's taking action when your values are put to the test. Meaning, moral courage is having the will to speak out and do the right thing, even when the constraints are person. There are 5 tips in developing moral courage. The first tip is develop and practice self-discipline. It involves a rejection of instant gratification in favor of something better. Developing will and moral courage involves developing self-control. It includes nurturing the ability to stick to actions, thoughts, and behavior which leads to moral improvement and success. Second tips is do mental strength training. This involves declining to satisfy unimportant and unnecessary desires. 3 tips is draw inspiration from people or good courage. 4 tips is repeatedly do acts that exhibits moral courage and will. And lastly, tips is avoid deeds that show lack of moral courage and will. This involves invading acts that shows irresponsibility, cowardice, apathy, rashness, imprudence, ill will, and wickedness. Example of moral courage is helping someone push a car out of a snowbank. Also, doing homework or course without being reminded, or turning in some object you found that doesn't belong to you. So that's all for today's video. I hope you learned something to me. Hey, that's all. Thank you for watching.